to talk to you about this because some of these candidates are very, very concerning and I think should be concerning to the Democratic Party. This Daralisa Avelia Chevalier, her name's hard to pronounce, but she ousted the chair of the Hispanic caucus, who's been in Washington, D.C. for a long time representing brown and Hispanic people, who was endorsed by Hakeem Jeffries. She's never had a real job, but she is the founder of this organization called Quad, which its charter says, quote, it wants to undermine and eradicate America through the use of, quote, violence in America, and that it also acts in full support of the Palestinian resistance. She says that Israel doesn't have the right to exist. She's since deleted that text. She said when she didn't have a napkin, she was happy to wipe her hands on the American flag. She's since deleted that, but is she not problematic to embrace with open arms into the Democratic Party?
No, look, the Republican Party has an entire Epstein problem going on. So when you're talking about people who you cannot embrace into American politics, there are a lot bigger issues than people you have policy disagreements with. The bigger thing that I think people have to take away is that we are looking at the generational change we've been pushing for the past 20 years happening in real time. Then there was an opportunity to have a orderly passing of the baton from one generation to the next. That's what we tried to do in 2020 when Nancy Pelosi said she would hand over control to Hakeem Jeffries. We saw many of the older members taking a step back in the party. But the problem was they were stepping back in name only. They still controlled the agenda. They still controlled the policies. They still controlled what happened within the party. And what we're seeing now is the people themselves rejecting that old style of politics and saying, just as Republicans did a decade and a half ago, the Tea Party revolution that led to the MAGA movement, saying that we want change across the board. We're tired of nibbling around the edges and seeing what will happen. We're tired of having two wings on the same bird, one person lying to us in one direction and one person lying to us in another direction. And I think this should speak to every single incumbent running in November this year, that the people are pissed off. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democratic issue. It's not a conservative issue. It's not a socialist issue. The people in this country are mad, and anyone who has an incumbent next to their name better be producing some policies that will change something, or you're going to see yourself boosted and ousted out, just like we've seen these politicians right now.